Hello, welcome inside the Hera Press Box for another Sunday evening edition, our first Sunday in a few weeks now, as I've been on business trips. But we are back now and in a bit of a sports we are concerned with, but we do have a few topics we will cover tonight. Might as well go ahead and get started with, well, I don't know. What do you want to talk about first?
We can do the video games, WNBA being on NBA Live, which is going to be the first ever video game where the WNBA, all WNBA teams are going to be on video game. So I'm really excited about it. From my standpoint, it's a little bit late in the game for that to be going on, but it happened, and at least it happened at some point. So I guess there's only so much complaining you can do at this point.
Yeah, so I plan on, let's see, last week made the decision that I will be buying a PS4. And that'll be one of the first games that I buy. Maybe the first game. I don't know. It doesn't come out until September, I think I saw.
Okay.
Demos this next coming Friday. But, yeah, so already starting to think about when I get a franchise mode going. If I'm going to do fantasy draft. I've decided I want Aerial Powers on my team, and I figure I can get her mid rounds, maybe fourth round, fifth round, and feel pretty happy with that pick. So that's where I'm at right now as far as my GMing goes for NBA Live.
The one and only pick, and it's in the first or in the fourth round. It's not even in the first round. Who are you taking first round?
I don't know. I wonder if they'll release ratings early.
Usually they do, don't they?
Usually they do. And especially you would think that now with this hype that's being built around having WNBA players on.
Yeah.
Right. You would think.
Yeah.
First pick, yeah. I don't know. Who's going to be?
Who's going to be the best player?
Sure. Because I don't know if it's going to be possible to play the men and women at the same time. Like if that would be any kind of a game within the game. So because if that's the case, then they're kind of digging their own hole as far as rating women. Well, nobody can be within 15 rating points to whatever guy they're going to put.
Right.
So I guess I kind of hope they just stay away from that.
Right. You know what it's probably going to be is you're going to be able to play, like, are you talking mixed teams or are you talking like a female team versus a male team?
Either.
My guess is that you're going to be able to not mix teams, but you'll be able to play against like the Lynx versus the Cavs or something like that. Or they have like a 1-on-1 or a 2-on-2 type of aspect of the game where you'd be able to mix players that way. But I doubt it's going to be like a full female team and a full male team is my assumption, at least. Not necessarily saying that's the case, but.
Yeah, so let's say the ratings do go from 0 to 100 or in video game terms around 55 to 95. Yeah. Who's 90 plus?
You just want me to start listing off names, or you want me to say who's the highest ranked?
Listing off names, and I have 3 in mind, I guess.
Yeah. I've got Sue Bird, Taurasi.
You think Taurasi?
Yeah. How can you not?
Well, I'm also thinking about how they rank guys, and there are probably only a few guys that are ranked that high. So I'm thinking Maya Moore.
Yeah, that was
Brittany Griner.
Yeah.
Who was the third one? Delle Donne.
Okay.
And those were the 3. I would say Delle Donne's a 90.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see him putting more at 93 being the highest.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Maya's got to be the highest in the low 90s. I think Griner's probably at like a 91, and then Deladon, Bird, and Tarasi are all in like the 89, 90. I don't know how you don't put them at that, to be quite honest. But I think you're right that Maya is the highest ranked one.
Yeah, and I don't know. Are we missing any? Yeah, I think that is the group, right? That's the group that's the high.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Sylvia Fowles makes a case. Don't think she'll be up there just because she's not. Her name isn't out there like Maya Mars and Tarasi and Sue Bird's name is out there. But I think she deserves it. She's been playing well on a consistent basis.
Yeah. Switching into, well, keeping it with the WNBA news, and since we haven't done scores in so long, tonight I figured run through the standings and kind of recap those, and then get back into the habit of going through scores next week. So I will start out in the WNBA and go through those standings. And I will mention that the Fever, Indiana, did beat the Lynx. Was that tonight?
Yeah.
That was tonight. Yeah. Next to last place, Fever beat the Lynx.
Did you see the end of the game?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, but the Lynx are still 3 up in the WNBA standings. There are only 5 teams above 500. Then you have the Fever and San Antonio still in single-digit wins.
Hey, San Antonio's on a hot streak, though.
They have won 3 games in a row.
Kelsey Plum is turning it on.
Only 16 games back.
Yep. They can make it.
The Lynx have clinched a spot in the playoffs. 23 games into the season. For softball, San Antonio Pride have already clinched the league regular season championship. They're 5.5 up on Scrapyard Dogs, who have no chance of catching them. Beijing Eagles, they have 2 wins. They're at the bottom. All other teams, the other 3 teams I have not mentioned included, have won 21 or more games. Texas Charge 21 and 23. Above them are Akron and Chicago with 22 wins apiece. The NWSL standings, the middle of these standings are kind of jumping all over the place. It's going to come down to the wire for every position is what it seems like. Yeah. North Carolina and Chicago remain at the top. North Carolina, the Courage, are still 1 point ahead of the Red Stars after Chicago drew in their most recent contest. FCKC, as Chris Henderson puts it, is winning the race for Andy Sullivan. They are at the bottom with 14 points, but only a point above them are the Breakers and Spirit. Orlando and Houston are at 20 points. And Sky Blue FC joins them just outside of the playoff picture. Top 4, Courage, Red Stars, Thorns, and Reign. In the Stanford Classic today, 2 Americans met for the championship. Madison Keys defeated Coco Vandeweghe in somewhat easy fashion.
Yeah, did you watch that?
Watched, I would say 45% of it.
There are some heavy hitters. I would not want to have to face either of those 2 serves or their forehands, really, in general. Just in general, I won't want to face them.
Who'd you play today?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I just went out and hit with my dad.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I played a famous person.
I mean, he could
I played the wall.
That's, I mean, honestly, that's sometimes a good opponent.
Mm-hmm.
A reminder that the NWHL draft is approaching. That takes place August 17th. Get your big boards ready.
Mm-hmm.
I will have to get a hold of Marcus, and I bet he'll put a big board ready for us. As he mentioned that to both of us a week and a half ago that he was ready to talk.
Yeah.
Talking. The UEFA tournament came to an end today in a thrilling match that the Netherlands won 4-2 against Denmark.
All I have to say after the Euros and after Tournament of Nations is that Jill Ellis and the U.S. side better start getting it together. Otherwise, they're going to fall quickly behind.
Yeah, I don't think I would almost say that making a bet on the odds that we fall out of the top 5 is not a total dumb move. If you're a betting person,
in this, okay, so you're
that it could happen, yeah, absolutely.
Within the next year, 2 years, 3 years,
2-3 years.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because what does it necessarily take to drop out of? What does FIFA have as their criteria? Is it matches won?
I don't know.
Or is it just based on like an eye test? Because if so, I don't know why we're really.
I think it's yours.
I think it's yours. Definitely yours.
I'm at full bars and my hot spot is sitting 3 inches away from the computer. Just saying.
Definitely not mine.
Okay, so anyway, now I don't know what the criteria is. And I don't know if it's, where tennis where you can kind of see how it would unfold if this team wins. I almost want to say I've seen that before and that's how it's set up. So It could be something as far as wins and opponents defeated.
Yeah. Do you think we play in September again? Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Chances that Jill Ellis is the coach come next World Cup.
Next World Cup?
Or in general, I guess, is she out before the World Cup? Is she out ever? Like, pick a time frame.
I think that she has less than 12 months.
Okay. Any ideas of who they'd replace her with?
Nope, it's a college.
Right.
I'm thinking college coach that we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Or that we do know yet, but just haven't. Yeah. They have yet to assert themselves as the favorite.
Right.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, at least with the way she's been coaching, and I get you want to be in an experimental phase and you want to have good opponents and you want to have matches where you're experimenting. But at the end of the day, if you're going to be putting Sauerbrunn in the midfield, I think you kind of need to rethink what you're doing with the team and play to your players' strengths. And I get, having a well-rounded player, but if you're going to be making moves that just don't make sense and then are completely out of the blue, I don't know what you're still doing here. Foudy brought it up on the broadcast, saying that we should just pretty much be annihilating teams. We should just be winning, and we should be winning easily, We have the best players. We will continue, it seems like, at least for the near future, have the best players. So why aren't the results coming? What's going on, whether that be from a coaching aspect or a team aspect? What's going on with team chemistry? What's going on between the chemistry of players and coaches? Kind of what needs to change, whether that be the mindset of players or coaches or both.
So 2 things that I am sure of.
Mm-hmm.
One, Sophia Huerta is going to make an impact on the team.
Yeah.
Did you see her goal from this weekend?
I did not.
You did not? You should look that up.
Yeah, I'm about to.
And the other thing that I'm sure of is that previously mentioned before we started the broadcast, I said I had some beef to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
I said that you would have a few comments to make about this beef, and the main reason why you would have comments to make is because you were the one who tweeted this.
Oh boy.
Quote.
Shocking. Hold on. Shocking that you have beef with me. So let's just say that.
Especially about this. Quote.
Oh, I know what it's going to be.
Ever wonder what the reason why Alex Morgan isn't the 2012 Alex Morgan is? Because our team isn't like that of the 2012 team.
I was just saying.
So we maybe you ran out of characters, but we had mentioned establishing whose opinion it is when tweeting an opinion. So let me first declare that opinion expressed in that tweet was not shared by both parties within the Hera press box. So do not hold me accountable for those remarks made. Furthermore, actually, I'll just anything to say before.
No, you can just keep going.
As part of the defense.
I'll wait till you're done.
Defense team has no response.
Not right now. I'll let you finish.
No, she's getting chances. I
don't think she's as comfortable as she was. I think she's under more pressure. She's under more pressure to put away chances. Yeah, I'm not saying that she doesn't have chances. I'm just saying her mentality isn't where it was back then. She doesn't have the Abby Wambach next to her who takes care of business or took care of business day in and day out. So I think she's gotten uncomfortable, whether that's uncomfortable in the system that she's playing in, if it's uncomfortable with teammates that she's up front with, or if she's just kind of backing off in a way and letting her teammates take it. But I'm not saying that she's not having chances. I'm not saying that she shouldn't be putting away those chances. But I don't think, to me, it doesn't seem like she's comfortable out there.
So you think she is more of a number 2 than a number 1? Would you agree with that statement?
I think she has the potential to be a number 1. But I would say she's more comfortable in the number 2. From the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I've never seen her as a creator.
Right.
And that's mainly because of her speed. Why would she ever really need to create when all she can do is set her time and track down a ball and score, or make 1 or 2 touches and score,
right?
As opposed to, carrying the ball for any more than 2 seconds. So, and this goes back to our previous conversations about the jumbled mess that is the U.S. midfield, and sometimes poor play. And now without Brian, we have another reason to question our ability to set up our forwards.
Yep.
But yeah, both of us have said that she has had opportunities and hasn't been able to score. As far as pressure goes, I mean, I would say she's not a number one. And you mentioned Wambach.
Yeah.
And yeah, and kind of messing with those forwards too. It's not helping her.
Right. Right. And I think in the sense of Abby brought her secure, it's like your 3 and your 4 hitters, your 3, 4, 5 hitters, where you have essentially that fourth hitter has like a cushion. So you want to be able to get your number 3 hitter at the number 3 hitter out, but you also don't want to have to pitch around them in the sense of because you could walk them and now you've got the number 4 hitter who's your power hitter usually.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, Abby was kind of that player for Alex, at least in my mind she was. So Abby took the pressure off of her in the sense of Abby was going to get goals one way or another. She was just going to get goals. It's just kind of how it was. And Alex was kind of going to fill in when she needed to. And so I don't think we have that. I mean, obviously we don't have another Abby Wambach, but we don't have another player that can consistently, they touch the ball and you know that the ball is going in the back of the net. No matter what. And that's just how Abby was, and that's how Abby is, and we're never going to have that again. But we miss the goal scoring, we miss the leadership. I think we miss the leadership like none other that Abby had, and that a Lauren Holiday brought to the table, and that a Rampone brought to the table. So veterans bringing just the straight leadership. I don't think we have that one strong person who's vocal and that people are like rallying around. I mean, Carly wears the armband, but I don't think her presence as a captain is the presence that Abby had.
Right. I would venture to say that Carly probably is a little bit too strong sometimes in her opinions. I feel like she's one of those people, as
like a Hope Solo.
Yeah, right. And it's not like they're not respected, but at the same time, there is a line as far as the captain goes.
Right.
So I would almost be afraid that those two have probably gone farther than they need to sometimes.
Yeah. Well, clearly one of them has.
Yeah. In a few different ways.
Yeah. I think Carly brings a harshness to it. And I think, and there's a difference between Carly Lloyd, obviously, and Abby Wambach, but Abby just brought this presence. Like, you immediately respected her no matter what. And I don't think necessarily Carly brings that to the table, whatever it may be, her personality, whatever it is. There's a harshness to it. I think people respect it in a way. They just don't respect it fully like they did with Abby, which, again, we're not going to have another Abby, but we need to have someone who is like her, who is able to kind of sit back and relax and be a relaxed leader, but then also be on your butt if you're not practicing hard enough or you're not putting away chances, holding you accountable, essentially, like she did.
Yeah. Let's switch a little bit back to the WNBA and tie that in with the NWSL and pose the question that you had asked me about. And you pulled it from somewhere, or you thought it up about whether or not the WNBA would benefit from streaming games such as the NWSL does.
Right. It was just a random question. I don't even know what I was watching. But it was talking about WNBA League Pass. A commercial came up, and it was buy the League Pass for the rest of the year. And I just thought popped into my head of what would happen if they decided to go away from that and either streamed all their games on Twitter, which they're doing partly now, or stream it on YouTube or stream it on some sort of media social front that doesn't cost money, so like the NWSL. I don't know if it's a smart move in the sense of they're going from having some revenue to going to less revenue. Not sure if they would be able to compensate depending on how much. And I know I had asked you before we started here if you were able to find any numbers on the league pass or not. You weren't. I quick did a search and I wasn't able to find anything. So it's just a matter of how much revenue that they're getting from that. Because if they aren't getting that much, then what's the harm in switching to it?
Yeah, and just thinking about it in this last 10 seconds, I start to wonder if there is any hard-headed people in the front office of the WNBA saying that, yeah, like you said, that would be, maybe they're thinking that would be a step back. Why would we do that? We're 21 years in now. Shouldn't we be talking about TV deals with major markets and more games on national television than what ESPN gives us, as opposed to everything's offered for free on YouTube and Twitter?
So I just Google WNBA Twitter because I thought I had come across that they are expanding the amount of games that they're putting on Twitter next season. But it was this article that I pulled up is from Sports Illustrated. The title, more than 1.1 million viewers live streamed Twitter's first WNBA game. So that right there tells me that you need to get rid of League Pass and just start streaming it on Twitter. Because that's a lot of people. You're grabbing people who are just on Twitter and they're like, oh, hey, a basketball game, and they're clicking on it and they're watching it.
Right. I wonder if ESPN gets any sort of that revenue from the League Pass. I'm not sure who, or if that.
I'm not sure how that.
Or NBA TV.
Yeah. They probably, my assumption is they probably get some small portion of it.
Yeah, I would say NBA TV does for sure.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think not much about WNBA with this thought, but the softball professional league.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and theirs is, we talked about how much more it is to buy their streaming package for $50 or whatever it is to get you all the games. And that's literally the only way you can watch any games is to buy that package. I think there's a 30-day package, but it's $25. So
what's the point?
Exactly. So yeah, I think it's again, you'd have to look at numbers. If I can't imagine they're making
a lot of money off of that.
Right. Because I mean, let's say they have, I don't know, a few hundred.
Yeah.
300, 400 subscribers. I wouldn't be shocked if it was any more than that. Or
right. And if that's the case, if it's 300 or 400, most likely that's a combination of family and friends of the players.
Right.
So it's not necessarily your average fan, I guess. However you kind of want to put that term. It's not you and me, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. Because there's no connection there for us to do so. And for me, in this, and I guess it's different because I'm not in the front offices of the WNBA, but for me, my hope would be if we were going to try this, like, let's just stream everything on Twitter. We have games, we have our set games or whatever with ESPN and NBA TV, whatever we have to do to keep it at least on TV where people can watch it. Is you would hope in the sense of you're going to gain popularity by streaming it on Twitter. And with that comes some sort of revenue. People buying gear, people actually going to games that haven't gone to games. So I think it's just, you're going to be picking up more and more people with it versus blocking it out from people.
Right. Yeah, because at some point you can't be nearsighted. You have to look for the future, and if you think about these thousands of fans that you can gain by streaming it for free, well, down the line they're going to spend money, whether it's going to the games or buying merchandise or buying the subscription after they buy into the league.
Right. I think that's probably part of the problem, where you say buy into the league, and I think they're hoping that people have already bought into the league.
Right.
So they have this, which it's fine. And I'm wondering how long it's actually been around. Like, is this kind of always been around? How have people watched games before? If they didn't have it, what was the situation beforehand?
Yeah, I don't know. Years for League Pass or.
Let's see. They have their deal with Twitter, though, I think for another 2 years.
Okay.
What they really need to start doing is stop having 11 and 11:30 games. I mean, like, hello.
Write a letter to the editor.
Yeah, right. Let me just write a letter to the commissioner.
What's Twitter getting out of that deal with WNBA?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because it's not like I've seen in the games that I've watched, like a Twitter half-court logo or a big blue fluffy bird coming out to dance with the mascot.
I'm trying to see here if there's anything I can. Yeah, I haven't. The games are exclusive to Twitter and are not signed. Yeah. So they're not being on local or national television. Twitter is paying the WNBA guaranteed money to stream the games, but the leagues will not release the financial details. WNBA also has a national television deal with ESPN that runs through 2022 and includes 16 games per season, which is nothing.
And all the way till 2022. 16 games?
Yeah.
Through 2022?
Per season, and coverage of the playoffs, draft, and all-star game.
So for 5 more years, $16 games only.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a just get us on TV deal. Who cares how long you sign us for?
Right. Which, at that point, you might as well just stream every single game on Twitter.
Yeah.
And maybe just have the deal for the All-Star game and the playoffs.
Yeah, because by then, in my opinion, you start to see that. What?
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
And by that time, in my opinion, you start to see that pendulum as far as the I guess you're in the middle as far as not a whole lot of interest, but enough interest to kind of get off the ground, and you start to swing up, and now you have a lot of interest, and now we're in 2020 and people want to pay attention. The league's expanded. There's however many teams there are now.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to pay attention even more now because we're interested, but we start to swing back down because there's still 2 more years of 16 games for the entire season on TV. So unless you're still going to the games, the arena, or buying League Pass, you're back to square one as far as not being able to support the audience that you have created.
Right. Yeah, and there's this article. It's the New York Times article that is going over just all the professional leagues that have been like are starting to stream on social media fronts.
Uh-huh.
Talking about Thursday Night Football, which started on Twitter, now it's on Amazon, but that is only for Amazon Prime. Facebook was doing things for the NBA Developmental League. Major League Soccer announced that at least 22 games would be this season would be available on Facebook.
You know what would be cool is if so let's say a system like PlayStation View or something like that just picked up a league and gave them a deal where that became a service. I mean, you would still have to pay for it, but as cable kind of dies, having a system like that where you buy a PlayStation and use View or something like the Hulu, something like a Go90, but something that works unlike Go90.
Yeah.
An online service that you can subscribe to, and all the games will be at your fingertips.
Right. And it's in kind of like a slew of other things, kind of like Thursday Night Football with Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
There's benefits outside of just the game. So you're not necessarily buying it for just the game. Diehard fans would buy it just for the game, but Amazon Prime, imagine how many people are Amazon Prime, however many people have it, that are going to be on Amazon on Thursday nights, and they're just going to happen to click football game.
Yep.
A lot of people. I am willing to bet. I'm willing to bet a lot of people have Amazon Prime.
Right. Or they're going to know somebody that doesn't have Amazon Prime. They're going to say, hey, can we watch the game?
Right. Exactly. Yep. Any ideas of who would pick that up, or who you would want to see pick that up? Would stay with Twitter?
What we just talked about?
The WNBA, yeah.
I would go with View.
Yeah.
I think I had never really messed with it until last weekend, and it seems not unflawed, but it seems like a pretty sound way to go about things.
Right, but then you have to buy the console, correct?
Yep.
Which is
$300.
But for, let's say, for instance, for average Joe out living right now who isn't a fan but could become a fan.
And let's say average Joe as in probably average Joe Jr., who's not 40 plus and is in the realm where, I mean, how many people in this age group already own a PlayStation or are interested in some type of game console?
I think it would need to be a major shift, because I think in a way View could take hold, but it hasn't gotten there yet, like a Netflix or a Hulu or having Amazon Prime or things of that nature, where it's kind of like all in one, kind of replacing your cable in a way. Because for Amazon and for Netflix, it's all on your TV, and all you have to do is, for Amazon Prime, what is it, $100 a year?
I don't know. Sounds right.
Something like that. So I guess after 3 years of having Amazon Prime, you're already at the price of a PlayStation. So I guess in a way that was a bad example, but
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome for making your point right there.
That's all I ask for.
But people don't look at it that way, because in a way, if, say for instance, myself, I mean, I would most likely, like, I have a very big inclination about going out and buying a PlayStation just so I can play with WNBA teams. That is probably in my future. But for instance, a family member of mine who has cable and has no desire to buy a PlayStation but wants to watch games, where are they going to watch games?
Same place they do now.
Yeah. Buying WNBA League Pass.
Yep. For $30 a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which isn't that bad now that we think about it.
Right.
Last things to wrap up with. Anything?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. I did want to let you know Wisconsin won 1-0 today.
I saw that.
They beat Detroit. Danny Rhodes scored. They probably had 15, 20 shots. So as I tweeted, another year where nobody is going to be able to score. Well, hopefully somebody does decide to get double digits in scoring, which we haven't had in a few years. But yeah, very reminiscent of last year.
So we're talking about where the Alex Morgan of colleges. Is that what you're
Yeah, we just can't score.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Get shots on goal.
Put the ball in the net.
Right. Don't put the ball in the net.
All right.
So, yeah, that season starts rolling in a couple weeks. We get exhibitions in the next week and a half, and then we'll get going on college soccer, which we'll be following. You said you'll be following ESPN3. Keep your eyes open. There some conferences let you stream for free too, but I don't know. It's tough to see it's tough to find out who's for free and who's not before it's too late. So I wish you luck.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
But that is it from me. If that's it from you, then we will wrap up from the Hera Press Box, and we thank you for stopping by.